Maro Itoje has been named the new England captain for the Six Nations. He replaces his Saracens teammate Jamie George, who'll be the vice-captain alongside Ellis Genge. Let's go live to Twickenham and speak to our reporter James Cole. James, good afternoon. Long been seen as a future England captain, Maro Itoje. Any surprise that the role has come now for him, though?
Afternoon. Yeah, I think the timing is a surprise. As you say, long touted as the future England captain ever since he led the under-20s to the World Cup back in 2014. But we didn't think he would take over just at this moment. The feeling was that Jamie George would continue to lead the team through to the Alliance Tour in the summer, and then maybe a change would happen after that. Maro Itoje, long seen as the successor because he's a world-class player. He's one of the first names on the team sheet. He's got, 88 caps now. He's 30 years old. Interestingly, though, Eddie Jones said a few years ago he didn't feel that Maro Itoje was captain material, but things have changed. We're a long way down the road. He's older, he's more mature, and this change was always going to happen. But the interesting thing is the timing, and I think the timing is a little bit forced on Steve Borthwick because during the autumn, Jamie George, who's his hooker, was only playing 50 minutes. In fact, all 4 of those autumn internationals, he came off, was substituted after about 50 minutes. So as good a leader and captain as Jamie George was, it's impossible for him to do his job from the bench. Also now, the added factor, I think, is that George's position in the team isn't guaranteed. The likes of Luke Cowan-Dickie and Theo Dan, 2 other hookers, are pushing him really hard for his place. So your captain needs to be an absolute guaranteed starter. Maro Itoje is that. As I say, he's a world-class player. He's got leadership credentials. So now, Steve Borthwick feels it is the time to make him the next England captain.
I think there's always a number of considerations when you make a decision like this, and I think everybody sees Maro Itoje as he's a world-class player, incredible professional, was the respect of everybody. And I'll say this, but any really top quality side I've been involved in has a density of leaders, and I sense that that's what we're developing and we're growing here in the England rugby team.
Do you feel like he's coming of age and maturity now? He's 30. Eddie Jones previously said he didn't have the leadership qualities. Are you seeing that journey, if you like, near completion?
Well, I think I came back into the England team 2 years ago, and what I've seen from Maro is somebody who's thinks about the game, thinks about the preparation of his personal preparation and that of the team, and he's also somebody that the players will follow. And he's a player who stands up in front of the group, and when he speaks, they are listening. And I think those characteristics are really, really vital in the leadership of a team.
And are his minutes on the pitch a factor as well, given that Jamie George was coming off after 50 minutes during the autumn?
I think it's one of the factors. And I think if you asked any coach their preference, would they want their captain on the pitch for 80 minutes? I think every coach would say that would be their preference. It's not always like that, and there's plenty of examples where it's not been. But Maro started 80-odd tests for England, and he's only ever come off twice in those starts. So that's testament to his individual preparation, his conditioning, and the commitment he has on the pitch for England.
So Itoje will captain England. James, who are the other winners and losers in the rest of the squad, though?
The big winner is Tom Willis, the Saracens number 8, who's been in superb form for his club in recent weeks. A real powerful ball carrier. We talk in rugby about metres made in contact. He is king of those metres made in contact at the moment, Tom Willis. He's been involved with England squads previously. He's actually got 1 cap. He played in the warm-up match against Wales in Cardiff before the last World Cup in 2023, but he's not had a regular start, and there's now calls for Tom Willis to start at number 8 against Ireland in Dublin on February the 1st. He'd have to oust his Saracens teammate Ben Earl from that position, but he's certainly pushing him all the way. In terms of absentees, I think Dan Cole is a big one. He's 37 years old, he's got 116 caps. He's been a real mainstay in this team since Borthwick took over. He wanted his experience in the front row, but now Borthwick's starting to move to the younger props. He's starting to move to the next generation, although he did say in that interview, Borthwick, if I get any injuries, I've told Dan Cole, keep your boots ready, I'm going to need you. So he won't be hanging them up just yet, Dan Cole, but this is a sign that we're moving in another direction. Another notable absentee, scrum half Ben Spencer, the Bath 9. He started the autumn as first choice scrum half. He started against New Zealand, but he's fallen down the pecking order now and he's out of the squad. And that's because Alex Mitchell, England's first choice 9, is returning. That's a huge boost. Meanwhile, George Furbank, their fullback, is not going to be fit for the opening game of the Six Nations, and Borthwick suggested he may move Marcus Smith, the fly half, from 10 to 15. Some interesting decisions for Borthwick as they head towards this Six Nations campaign.